Hey there, I'm Alan Matthews from Classical Guitar Shed, and in this video we are looking at the left thumb, the philosophy of the left thumb in classical guitar technique. How do we use it? How do we not use it? Where should it go? Where should it not go? All these questions and more will be answered in this very video. Let's do it. So here you are looking over my shoulder, and we have the guitar neck. Now, one of the things that a lot of people do is stick the thumb out like this so that it's pointing at the headstock. And this might be useful if we're playing down on our knee like this, because if the guitar is so low that it hurts our wrist otherwise. But if we're elevating the neck, which we typically do in classical guitar, when we play classical guitar, then what we can do is we can put the thumb always behind the fingers. So it might shift a little bit this way or that way, but it rarely, if ever, crosses the line of the index finger. So we keep it on this side, on the hand side of the index finger. So like this right here. Now, that way, it gives us this ability to move laterally in this way, to move from the index finger and the pinky, fourth finger, to move those out. Now when you can try this yourself, if you poke your thumb out and you try to move those fingers apart, your index finger and your pinky, try to move those apart, you got nothing when you stick your thumb out. You put your thumb behind your fingers, behind your second, third fingers, and all of a sudden you can move these fingers out, and that gives us the stretch that we need to make these big stretches and gives us the most number of options for places to move. And that's really what we're looking for, is a position that gives us the most number of options. So as you move down, you may end up bringing your thumb far down like this, and that's perfectly fine. Ideally, there's this C shape in your hand, and it goes like this. So if you're over here, your thumb is way up here. If it's up here, it's further down. Now, if you're playing both and going back and forth, then it might be somewhere in the middle, and that's perfectly fine. Here's another tip for your thumb is don't do this. That tip joint right there, keep that tip joint flex back and the pad of your thumb on the back of the guitar, not the tip. The tip, that creates a lot of tension in the hand. It adds a ton of tension. You might not register it, but it's there, trust me. And so you want to keep that pad on the back of the guitar. Now if you go too far, you'll let that big joint buckle, this middle joint actually buckle, and that weakens the hand as well. So you want that to be somewhere in the middle range, not completely buckled like that, and then and the tip joint back like this, not curved. So avoid that tip joint bend. Last thing with the left hand thumb here is that when you are playing chords or when you're doing different things, feel free to play with the position on the up and down, depending on what it is that you're doing. So if you have some sort of technical problem in a piece, notice what your thumb is doing and say, well, what if I move my thumb somewhere? Could that help? And so then that is another option for you to do. Sometimes just a little inch here or there can make a huge difference in the comfort of a piece. So those are a few tips to be playing with the left hand thumb. Just to review, don't bend the tip joint, keep the thumb behind the fingers when your neck is elevated, and feel free to move that thumb around so that you can always have a very ideal position with the most number of options of movement within the hand. And that is the left hand thumb. Have fun with that. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't.